Hey everyone, I'm Eric. This is my wife Julie, and we are the Blended Life. And today we have a special surprise for you.
Yeah, we are excited to announce our first ever featured blended family.
So our first featured blended family is the Brock family from Northern California, and they're a pretty unique family actually.
Yeah, they call themselves a dual city blended family. They're doing life in 2 cities and 2 homes, and it's a really unique situation. And also, fun fact, they're newlyweds, guys.
When we first met, we were both living the single parent life. And for anyone who has led that life for even a small season, you know that it can be probably one of the most challenging things that you could ever face in your adult life. And we were sort of in a rhythm when we met. We were both, running a household and raising kids alone. So I'm not sure that either of us were really definitely looking for a relationship, but we both had dating apps, so we definitely were window shopping for sure. So when the app we had matched us, I remember being really captivated by Matt's profile. And for those of you who may be watching who have had experiences with dating apps, I mean, probably 80 or 90% or more of the time, you're just like, nope, 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 nope.
You're swiping right, babe, on everybody.
Oh, no.
She meant left.
Left, no, yeah.
I was right, so I got the right swipe.
And when it matched us, I remember thinking, wow, this guy, you could see his personality shine through. He had a big heart. I could tell he really loved his children. He was obviously a diehard Giants fan. And I don't know, something just drew me to him. So like any good woman does, he had put his Instagram handle on his dating profile. And so I totally Insta-stalked him.
Stalker.
Yeah. And that was it. Like, he had written a post about his daughter, Avery, for Woman Crush Wednesday, if anyone remembers those days.
Hashtag.
And oh my gosh, it nearly brought me to tears. It was so sweet. And having girls myself, I thought, I wanted to meet him, but I wasn't going to tell him that. So I had sent him a inbox message that just said, you touched the life of a stranger today. Just wanted to let you know. Really had no expectations. I just kind of felt led to send him that.
So after she slid into my DMs, if you know what I'm saying, I got the message. I can remember opening it and kind of being like, oh, that's odd. But it was extremely sweet, out of nowhere, and certainly intriguing to me. So I responded back with something in kind, just told her how much I appreciated the kind words and, that I write from my heart whenever I feel led. And it's nice to know, have a little affirmation that, those words reach people sometimes. We chatted for a couple days, and then I dared her to drive from Fresno to Sacramento and meet me at Top Golf. Because she had pretended to be really into golf when we were talking, and I was like, we're gonna check on that. And we've still never been golfing after 3 years, but that's okay. We've been to Top Golf a few times. But she came, met me at Top Golf, and I was, I was captivated. She certainly was drop dead gorgeous. When she came walking down the stairs, I was like, okay, all right. Like, after having met a few people online, most people don't look like they do in their pictures. She didn't either, but it was on the good side. She was actually way more attractive than she was in her photos. I even wrote in my wedding vows, "Thank you for not catfishing me." That's how important it was.
Ashley, I'm so proud that today I become your husband. I love you. I love that it never worked out with others so that I might have the chance to find you. I love that you pretended to love golf in the hopes that perhaps I would be even more excited about meeting you, which wasn't possible. I love that you weren't afraid to take a risk and that you drove 3 hours to come meet a stranger at Topgolf. I love that when you came walking down those stairs that night, you absolutely took my breath away. I love that you didn't catfish me. It felt familiar, like spending that first night with her at Topgolf, like getting to know each other, laughing, talking. It felt like I had known her all my life. I know it sounds cheesy, but it's true. And I told her, I didn't tell her this right away because it had been super creepy, but I eventually told her that first night it felt like my soul recognized hers, like that there was something so incredibly warm and comforting and familiar about her that it made it really easy to share, it made it very easy to connect, and I absolutely wanted more.
So this section was super fun for me to listen to because
Total stalker status.
yeah, and I just feel like with access to the internet and social media, really, you have to stalk. Like stalking is the responsible thing to do.
That could be
in
one of
this
our
day and age.
That could be one of our next shirts, like professional stalker or
Stalker.
responsible stalker.
Responsible stalker.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that was so good, you guys. The next question we have is, when did you decide it was the right time to live together?
Ooh, yeah.
That's a very different one for everyone. Let's see what they have to say.
I really think it was just a natural progression of things. We have a unique situation, the fact that we were living in two different cities. He was in Sacramento, I was in Fresno, so for over a year we spent time kind of taking the kids on weekends when they were out of school, spending time together in both cities. Our time together was super limited with the kids. I think we introduced the kids probably after 4 or 5 months of dating, and that was a big kicker for us. We knew that was going to be like a make or break. If the kids didn't get along, if it didn't feel right, like we probably just would have stayed friends and kept in each other's lives, but we definitely wouldn't have continued our dating relationship. So the living together part, it really was just logistical. Matt's lease was up.
That garbage truck is money right now.
Oh, you want to stop it?
No, that's fine. Go. It really did wind up being a, not to downplay, but like a matter of convenience. Like we knew that we were about at that stage where we wanted to cohabitate. You were
Officially.
You were coming up to take a new job, and it just made sense. It was a more convenient location because I work in Folsom. It was a more convenient location for you driving to Roseville. Like, it just kind of worked, and because we knew that meant we would be spending more time together. I had only ever lived in like this 2-bedroom townhome, and it was kind of like a bachelor pad. It was what I needed for myself and the kids at the time. But it was time to close that chapter and open a new one, and we were opening it together. So it was a very organic, maybe that's a better way of saying it than convenient. It was more organic
and it just made sense. It was like, okay, it's a lease together. It's kind of like a, we were like making more of a commitment, sort of taking that next step. And like she said, we were spending time on the weekends together anyway and spending the night at one another's homes. So it just kind of made sense that we would have a place we could call our own there, as well as, the home that we were maintaining in Clovis as well. So
we had already talked about that, forecasting long term, we were going to need to maintain homes in both cities. We very much knew that our co-parents on the other side would want the children to stay in their respective schools, so we had kind of just made up our minds that that was going to be our life. If this was the path that we chose together, that we were committed to being between cities and having a dual household. And I think we were just running on a little bit of faith and that it would work out.
Yeah, and the kids were excited. It was something exciting and new. I think it offered them a glimpse of, stability. It was something that was our home over there. They already viewed the home in Clovis as kind of their home when they were here. So it was just a very natural, organic transition. Welcome to our crazy life. Oh, is this a normal day? Yep, this is a normal day.
How did this start?
So what I love about Matt and Ashley is that they're just super honest. Living together for them was a matter of convenience. And we can relate to that. Even if you're not far apart, it's just easier to do life together.
At some point in time, it starts making sense. You're like, look, we're spending so much time together.
Right.
We're always in the same, under the same roof.
Spending the night.
Yeah. The kids have already met each other. Like, this is starting to feel.
It makes sense.
Like a good thing. Yeah.
But I love that it just wasn't like all romantic and it wasn't all rose-colored glasses, which I'm sure there was part of that. Right. It wasn't a Hallmark movie. It was like, this is inconvenient. We need to switch it up and make it convenient. I like that.
Yeah.
And then I loved that they acknowledged that the kids meeting each other was a make or break moment. And I have it's kind of a double-edged sword, because even if it wasn't a great first meeting, do you quit at that point?
Yeah, and they said that they were still going to stay close. They were still going to stay friends, even if it didn't work out for the whole family.
Right.
So, at least they weren't going to just throw it away, but they were considering the entire family and all the kids as a whole as their make or break.
Because kids can make or break a marriage.
Yeah.
And to follow up with that, the fourth question they're going to answer for us right now is, how long did you date before deciding it was time to get married? That's it's also very different for everyone.
Yeah, for everyone, every situation. Some people, may date for 10 years and never get married. Some people might date for, a month or two and get married. So it can be, whatever fits your lifestyle, I guess.
Yeah. And then we asked them, did you incorporate any fun or interesting parts into your ceremony to signify that you are blending a family, not just joining together husband and wife, but that you are entering the kids into this family too. And you guys just watch this.
I think from moment one, I had always told Ashley I had literally zero desire to ever get married again. I think most of that was based on a place of fear and insecurity, as I had already been married and in my mind failed at marriage. And so I wasn't going to put myself in that position again. I think deep down I knew I'm a dreamer. I hope. I love romance and love, and I hoped that there would be an opportunity where someone would change my mind on that. I didn't know that it would be her when we first met, but as things progressed, I could totally see that was a possibility. And so, we dated for about 2 years? Yeah, it was about 2 years.
And then we were going on a cruise. We crashed our brother and sister-in-law's first anniversary cruise. They wanted us to come with. I decided to crash it even more by asking them if I could propose on the cruise. They were totally in love with the idea, very gracious. So I ended up proposing on that cruise, and then we got married a year later after that, November of just this past year, so November of 2019. I think what was paramount to us, what sort of led me down that path more and more, was how much I wanted to show my commitment to Ashley with the kids. You know, we live in a day and age where marriage isn't necessarily taken the same way. It's not necessarily viewed as serious of a matter. People are so willing to get a divorce these days. But that's not the story I wanted my kids to be told. That's not the picture I wanted to paint for them, that this wasn't serious enough that I was willing to commit to her. I wanted to show them that that's absolutely what I wanted, and that when you want something, you know, you go for it, and you commit to it all the way, and you don't leave any question marks or doors open. And so I think as we progress more and more in the relationship, that's just more of the direction it took. Again, it was fairly organic. It just kind of was like, you know what, we've been dating 2 years now. I know I love this woman and I want to be with this woman. You know, I need to commit to her in that regard, and so everything sort of went from there.
And I would agree. I would say that I was in the same boat when we first met, and my view of marriage definitely changed over time. I absolutely felt like I didn't want to marry again either, but I think that just comes from a place of shame and a place of fear. So I think once you kind of have time to process and to heal from that, as time went on and our children bonded more and more with one another, and we bonded with them, and we already felt like a family. We had already felt like a family for quite some time. It was just really putting that official mark and that official stamp on it. And I think, you know, the kids like us in society and with their friends and with their families, I think struggled a little bit with, you know, mom's boyfriend or dad's girlfriend, and it just didn't feel as significant as it could if we were officially married.
Yeah.
And I think the kids were most excited about being, you know, step siblings
And being highlighted in the wedding, because
Yeah.
that was sort of,
because they had really been our biggest supporters and our biggest cheerleaders all along. I think, you know, those of you out there living the blended family life, there are definitely hurdles that you have to jump. Sometimes it's with your friends, sometimes it's with your own family. Some people are super on board and unconditionally supportive, and some people are more of a slow burn. They have to come around, you know. When you get divorced, your family grieves with you. You know, it's a process for all members of the family. And so, you know, if we're feeling as the divorcees like shame and fear, you know, they kind of go through a similar experience on the outside looking in. And so our wedding, the ceremony was very, very important to us. We really wanted the focus to be on blending our family and on us as a unit. So we incorporated a family sand ceremony. We gave the children necklaces. They were dog tags that said "We Are Family" with our wedding date on them, so they had something tangible as a keepsake. And then we also said age-appropriate vows to them.
and we choreographed a special dance that the kids were super excited about.
At the reception.
And hopefully we'll be able to include a clip of that for you guys to enjoy too.
Let's see it.
was a lot of fun, you guys. Nice dance moves, and it was neat how you guys were able to also incorporate so much, just fun stuff into your wedding.
Yeah, I love the sand. That's so symbolic, right, of blending families. And then the dancing is such an expression of love and joy and happiness.
Well,
and
that kind of
then-
speaks to your heart anyways, right?
Yeah, I'm partial to the dancing. But then also, the dog tags. What a great idea, because it is important, I think, to give and meaningful to give kids something tangible that's theirs to keep and take home. The sand goes in the house and that's everyone's. The dance is great, but you can't touch it and you're not doing it all the time. So to have something that kids can take home with them and keep and look at means a lot to kids, I think. And so that was a really special thing. I just say the Brock family set the bar with all of the things in the ceremony.
I love how they use the sand, though, because that's kind of where our logo came from. The sand dropping in and all the different pieces. And, a lot of people in blended families, a lot of blended families now are doing that in their weddings. And I love the symbolization blah, 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 of, of all of it. I don't make up words this time. Or I get to make up the words this time.
Or sounds.
Sounds.
But before, they shared with us their wedding stuff, I want to go back to what Matt and Ashley expressed in the very beginning of the section when they were discussing how they didn't have a desire to get married again. And I really resonated with that.
Yeah, me too.
I know I keep doing it, but seriously, I think that is something that we all kind of can really relate to is, after divorce and with kids and you're a single parent, I think it's really hard to ever imagine you're going to do it again.
Yeah, I didn't think I ever would. Really. I mean, I guess when you are really truthful to yourself and you dig deep down inside, yeah, maybe or probably, but it's, it's sometimes it just happens a little bit sooner than you would expect it to.
True. And I think your faith creeps up. Once you're done being angry and you're done being hurt and you're over the pain, God created us for marriage. He didn't create us to do life alone.
Right.
And so I think that we're born needing connection. And so I think that ultimately overtakes our indignance and our hurt. But I really appreciated that they shared that. I totally relate to it. I'm sure you guys do too. The fourth thing we asked them was, what discussions did they have before they got married? So let's listen into what they have to say about that.
I think our discussions before marriage were mainly focused around logistics due to the two cities. I think that was a huge thing for both of us to wrap our mind around, and our families to wrap their mind around, of how was that going to work. I really thought that people thought that we were crazy. They're like, what are you doing? You guys live 3 hours apart.
We kind of are a little bit. It's not easy, but it's worth it.
Absolutely. And we just had a completely different view, which was, this was an opportunity. This was an opportunity not only for us, but for our children. We don't know of any other dual city blended family households, but I'm positive that they're out there.
For sure.
But we thought, what a great opportunity for our children to be able to experience both cities and have their family close by and still feel stable in their environments. But it's more of like a privilege and an opportunity than anything in our mind. So the logistical piece was just, we're both trying to work full time and have income, and where are we going to work, where are we going to live, where are the kids going to go to school. All of that stuff had to be worked out, and I think it was super overwhelming at first, and so we just had to really just take small little bites at a time and we're still working on it. We're still dialing, it in, but we're in a really good place, and the kids are in a really good place, which is the most important thing.
Yeah, I think the logistical piece for me was just hard because I didn't have the vision. She got the vision before I did, that how we could make this work. To me, I just felt like, how can I be a husband and a participant in this life when some days I'm not around? I have to be in, Sacramento and you're in Clovis, and, and I think it just makes communication paramount. It makes taking opportunities with the time that we do get to stay connected, to stay, actively pursuing one another, so that we keep that part strong, so that when there's a distance between us, it doesn't feel like it's that much distance. And then just really making sure that the kids feel at home at both places, making that a priority, making sure that they feel stable and not like they don't have a home. They do, they have two. And I think the kids have grown to be pretty excited about it. Like, they get to experience two different cities that they otherwise wouldn't, or a different city for each of them.
And so as we've gotten married and, we've blended our family officially, our conversations definitely have gone away from logistics, although we're still dialing that in, and we're focused now on just creating a safe, happy, fun, stable environment for the kids to come home to.
And I think the probably the greatest challenge in that is just, you're two different people from two different backgrounds, two different upbringings, two different parenting styles. You're fighting off, your preconceived notions from having been in a marriage previously and seen other parents and all those things. So there's a lot to sift through. But I think if you keep the conversations very focused on what's present and what's relevant, it helps you, sift through it a little bit easier and stay a little bit more on task. But I think our greatest conversation now is just really about maintaining a respective role in one another's children's lives, right? We both have two biological children each and two bonus children each. And so, it's about me making sure that my presence is known and felt as, a dad figure in the house, but never imposing myself as a dad, because ultimately I'm not, you know what I mean? Like, I respect the other fathers in the picture. I understand how valuable they are in their daughters' lives, and it's a matter of just maintaining that for myself. And I know she tries very hard on her side as well, to just be somebody that Evan and Avery can look up to and appreciate and value in their lives, but she never in any way, shape, or form tries to step over her role as a stepmother into, that of a mother. And so I think that's kind of the biggest thing that we try to maintain top of mind and focused on.
Yeah, and I feel like my new role as a stepmom, I've never been a stepmom before. This is new for me.
And I've never been a stepdad, yeah.
And so my conviction is that my place is a bit outside of the circle. So him and Evan and Avery's mom are inside the circle doing the decision making and the lion's share of the parenting, and I'm there as, a huge support system on this side to make sure that that's as successful as it can be.
So this was an interesting section to listen to because, gosh, it was just so chock full of so much good stuff. But logistics are huge. I think that's a lot of people's beginning conversations when they're going to get married or cohabitate. Like, what does that look like?
Right.
Are we moving in together, into his house, into her house? Are we getting a place of our own somewhere else? They happen to have two homes.
Right.
And living between the two homes.
But at some point in time, you start realizing, like, hey, we're spending a lot of time together.
Yeah.
We're spending a lot of time under the same roof.
Right.
Like, this should be a thing now.
Right. But the logistics of it, and I love how they have the outlook that blended life is an opportunity and was an opportunity and a privilege for their kids. I think just having that outlook and mindset will set them up for a very positive, strong life together, because you're looking at everything as a blessing. Right. Instead of looking at everything as difficult and hard and a struggle. And I think we can get so in on the struggle that we forget to look at the opportunity.
Their glass is half full. Good job, you guys.
Yeah, and they're newlyweds, so it's still honeymoon phase. Right?
And hopefully it stays like that. It sounds
There's
like
no need for it.
It sounds like the way that they're setting up their relationship and their family and their marriage is to stay in love, you know, and they're
Yeah.
constantly putting their family first and the kids at the forefront of their thoughts and how it's all coming together. And you guys are doing an awesome job. Keep it up.
Yeah, and my favorite thing that Matt said, actually, I wrote it down. I was so impressed, was that him and Ashley have decided, you know, or he feels like that they actively are going to pursue one another. They're actively pursuing one another, especially because they have dual homes and jobs apart and things like that. But I think that that is something that not just blended family marriages, but all marriages get lost in that, like, you're married, you know, you're married, you have the other person, their kids have got you everywhere, work's got you everywhere, and your relationship kind of gets lost.
Right.
So I think also
Become
what
stagnant
sets,
or stale or
yeah, for them to already acknowledge that and have that as one of their goals to actively pursue one another in their marriage, I think is just inspired me. So thanks you guys for sharing that with us. And the last thing we asked them about here is, what is a wisdom? Like, what is a pearl of wisdom that you can give all of our blended families that you've learned? Because we're all learning from each other.
Yeah,
Being
it's-
flashlight people and all that.
yeah. Well, it's a neat thing too is you can always pick up wisdom. It doesn't matter your
Yeah.
age, your history, anything. Wisdom's an ever-growing thing.
Yeah, so let's learn what they have to say about that.
And this one is simple to say and hard to execute sometimes, but really it's be present, be consistent, and have fun. These years where the kids are little and growing up, they go by so fast, and we're just so extra blessed to have each other and just to maintain that focus on one another and making quality time.
Yeah, I think recognizing and owning the fact that we were both capable and succeeding at parenting on our own, and that we chose to add somebody into the mix because it made sense and it fit. There are always going to be people on the outside looking in who are going to judge you. They're going to have opinions. They're going to have feedback that you did not ask for. I would encourage you to just stay focused right here. To stay focused on your partnership, to stay focused on, is this something that we can do long term? You know, we spoke about the challenge of our joint city living, right? Dual city living. You know, that conversation sort of, I think where it peaked for us was, I remember telling Ashley, like, yeah, this is gonna be hard. Like, it's gonna be a challenge, but it's a challenge for a short season of our life. What I know is that when my children are grown and have moved on into their adult lives, I'm still gonna want my best friend with me. And so I wasn't willing to forfeit that opportunity that I may never meet another best friend like her, you know? I wasn't willing to give up on that opportunity to live in the next 6 years of struggle, you know, for what I knew would be a lifetime of happiness on the other side. And so I am so excited about life, you know, as we move forward and we get to be grandparents someday and all of that. But I would say keep your vision focused on what makes sense for you. It's so easy to get distracted with all the minutia and all the unsolicited opinions and feedback out there, but just do what feels right in here. Don't get wrapped up in the past failures. Don't get scared of what a future might look like. If you can get that vision on board with your best friend for how you're going to succeed at this and where you're going to go with it, and that direction makes sense for the both of you, and it looks like your arrows are pointed in the same direction, then hold hands and run. And stay focused on this first, and if you're taking care of this, then those relationships with the stepchildren are going to be natural and easy to handle. So we're here. We'll be around for questions, I'm sure. If anybody ever wants to ask us something, if you're considering a dual city scenario, we can certainly.
We're specialists in that.
We can certainly tell you, what the pitfalls might be, what to look out for. But ultimately, we want to be here for encouragement. We know how paramount encouragement is. We love Eric and Julie for what they're doing. We think this blog they've created and this sort of lifestyle of sharing with other people who are going through the same journey is so helpful and so comforting and so necessary as we all, do battle during this season of life. So, God bless all of you, and anything we can answer, let us know.
So I really like how they tout being present and showing up for the family and just being there for one another quite a bit,
Yeah, I love that they brought up consistency. I know that's one of my favorite words. I think that everyone needs it for feeling safe and secure, and that they know what to count on. It's super important, and it's awesome that they recognize that so early on, right off the bat.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So thanks, Brock family, for being part of, being our very first featured blended family.
Yeah, we really appreciate the time they put into this, their honesty. It takes a lot to open up your lives to everyone. And they actually open up their lives more than just this video, you guys. They answered 12 questions that you can have access to on our website.
I'll put a link in the description down below.
Yeah, and then you saw five of those questions answered on this video. So to learn more about the Brock family, there's so much more to know about them. They're so unique and they are so honest. Go check it out. You can find their blog entry under the blog. That's what it's called on our website. And you'll see a featured blended family section there. Go find them.
Again, link below. Subscribe and comment, and they will actually check this video. So if you comment below, they'll actually talk back with you, and give that Brock's family a thumbs up, because I think they deserve it. They're doing an awesome job, and I think we're all learning from them too. So thank you guys.
Yeah, and find them on Instagram. Their handle's on the website, on their page, the page that we're talking about as well on the blog. And ask questions on there too, like that article that we posted about them, and get to know them. They're a great, great family.
So thank you guys, and we'll see you on our next podcast this Thursday.
Bye.